Alright, so we're checking out your Project 6 turn-in. You had also mentioned having some problems with the screen turning white and textures not showing up. I've noticed that there's a bit of glitchy stuff going on here with your paint effects. Alright, so just so you know, if you hit the 8 key on your keyboard, it'll bring up paint effects. And usually that'll be a white screen, alright? It looks like there are some strange glitchy type things going on here with the paint effects screen in your project, alright? A little bit of file corruption, but we can work around this. So, you know, once you hit that 8 key, you might get something like that. You might get a white screen, you know. Whatever you get, just hit the 8 key again to turn it back off. Alright, now you still might see this little pencil floating around as your mouse. If you see that, hit the Q key for quit. Alright, that's going to quit out of that paint effects tool. Alright, so this way, you know, everything will start acting pretty normal again. Of course, you can see we just have this wireframe right now. We can't see our textures anymore. That's also easy to fix. We can just come right up here, just click on this smooth shade all, alright, and it'll pop right back into place. You can also toggle that with those number buttons at the top of the keyboard. Okay, so 4 is wireframe display, alright, 5 is going to be this shaded display. And then 6 is going to be this shaded display with textures, alright? So that should get you through that. Other than that, assignment 6, I'm talking more about the assignment now rather than the technical difficulties. Assignment 6 should be 2 separate pieces with some animation applied to one piece, okay? So for this, there's no animation, alright, it's just a static object. Well, it's pretty nice. I mean, the fridge looks very good, so good job on that. Nothing is separate, nothing is moving, okay? You know, I guess technically the handle is separate from the actual fridge, but we don't have any actual animation going on here, okay? So to complete this project, you'll need to follow the steps that you learned with the treasure chest to cut off part of this, alright, and then animate it separately from the rest of the fridge. We'll just kind of go through how that might work right now, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and create a cube. Alright. Basically, I'm going to use this cube to slice part of this fridge, the front door of this fridge off from the actual back of the fridge here. Alright. So I'm going to thin this down quite a bit. And I'll also make it bigger. You can kind of imagine this as like a really sharp fridge cutting blade, okay? So we're gonna cut this apart. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna cut it right there. We'll make this nice and thin, okay? And I'm gonna make sure that it's going all the way through the fridge, alright? And you know, I've probably made it a lot bigger than it really needs to be, but that's okay. Once we've done that, we'll go ahead and grab our fridge, or excuse me, we'll grab our cube, then hold down Shift and grab our fridge as well, okay? Then we're going to make sure that we're in the polygons menu here, alright? We'll come up to Mesh, Booleans, and Difference. Oops. Alright, so that's a case of me doing it backwards. make sure you select the item you want to keep first, okay? So in that case, it's the fridge. Select the item you want to use to cut second, so that's going to be this big square I made. Booleans, difference. There we go. Okay, that's looking more like what we want. And you can see we've got this nice clean cut through these two different parts of the fridge, alright? So now what's left is to go ahead and separate these two pieces. Now that they're no longer physically attached, you can see there's a gap between them. We can actually use a selection up here in our menu to separate them, and it's just simply mesh separate. Okay, make sure you have your fridge selected when you do this, mesh separate. When you do that, you'll see that part of the fridge will turn to a white outline, and the other will remain green. When you grab this now, you can see these have separated into two different pieces, alright? So these are no longer the same 3D model, okay? So now that I've done that, I can actually animate this piece separately from the rest of the fridge, alright? Now I probably want this handle to go along for the ride too. So, you know, in assignment 6 we haven't really talked about parenting very much yet. If at all. I don't think at all we have, but I know you've, gone on to assignment 7 and 8. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually parent this handle, okay, to our fridge door, because otherwise, if we animate our fridge door at all, you can see the handle does not go along for the ride, alright? And so we want the handle to stay on the fridge door, okay? So I'm going to come to Window, Outliner. I can click this little button if I don't see anything here, and it'll make everything appear. So our handles are called P-cylinder 1, P-cube 2, and P-cube 3. Right here, if we open this up, Polysurface 2, that's our door, okay? So what we can do is grab all three of these handle items, middle mouse, click and drag these right underneath Polysurface 2, or really on top of it, I guess. Once you do that, they'll now be underneath this Polysurface 2, okay? Meaning that at this point, wherever the door goes, the handle goes along for the ride now, okay? So now we can animate this. Now, the most obvious problem is that this door, when we rotate it, is swiveling around the center of the fridge. So that's not very natural. So, ideally we want to move this pivot point to a place where, maybe a hinge might be, okay, for this door. So it's going to be over on this side somewhere. And to move this, we can actually hold down the D key, D as in dog, and then we can move this around, but you can see it's quite loose and it's difficult to attach it very accurately to anything. So we also, at the same time, want to hold down the V key for vertex, alright? That will snap it to vertices when we move it. So to move it, I'm just clicking and dragging with the left mouse button while holding the D key and the V key down on the keyboard, okay? Now you can see it's snapping to vertices. We can snap it wherever we want. I'm going to snap it right down here in this bottom corner. Now, when I rotate the door, now that I've moved that pivot point, you can see it swings out like a normal door. Alright? So I'm going to set that right there. And I'll go ahead and set my first key. Alright? I think I'm just going to rotate this in Y, so I'm only going to set a key for rotate Y. We'll just set key selected. Now, when I do that, I'm just right-clicking and holding to bring up this menu, okay? I'm on frame 1 right now, just so you know. Then I'm going to move this time slider just by clicking and dragging over to 24, my last frame. And I'll swing this door open, okay? Once I do that, I do have to key it again, because if I move it now, we lose that animation that we just did. Alright, so make sure that after you move it, you come back up here, right click and hold, and key selected. Okay, so now we can see when we scrub through, the door swings open. The one problem here is that when we pull these pieces apart, the fridge inside is not hollow. Okay, so that's something we'll also want to deal with. We can just grab this face, edit mesh, extrude, and then use our scale tool to bring that in just a little bit. And then we can do it one more time, edit mesh, extrude, and just use our move tool to move that straight back. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a nice hollow inside to the fridge as well. And there you go, that finishes off assignment 6. Alright, so just go in and take some time and do that. And you'll be all set there. So let me know if you have any questions about anything we went over today. Thanks for watching, and happy animating.